If you're landing at Haneda Airport, you're in luck because in this video, I'm going to show you 2 incredibly easy areas to stay at, plus a few personal favorites that are still very easy to reach. My aim is to help you avoid the absolute most stressful part of Tokyo travel, navigating massive stations with heavy luggage, especially on a late night arrival. Watch all the way to the end because I'll rank all of the areas using one very simple rule. How difficult is it to move from the airport to your hotel room with luggage? First, Hamamatsucho. If there's one area that consistently makes arrival into Tokyo from Haneda Airport simple, this is the one. And there's a very clear reason. Take the Tokyo monorail directly here. It's the last stop on the monorail, so you can't really mess it up. There's no transfers, no complicated route changes, basically no confusion. You get onto the monorail at the airport and you arrive in Hamamatsucho in under 30 minutes, with some express trains taking around 15 minutes or even less. But what makes Hamamatsucho really stand out isn't just the train. It's the area, which is well connected, slightly quieter, and has that special Tokyo vibe thanks to the proximity to the Tokyo Tower. If I had to describe Hamamatsucho in one sentence, it would be this: it removes the friction from arrival. In terms of suitcase stress, this is as easy as Tokyo can get. So this is an ideal location if you're landing late, traveling for the very first time, or you just want zero confusion on day one. If your priority is simply getting from the airport to the hotel with the least amount of thinking, this is probably the best option. Next, Shinagawa, because if Hamamatsucho wins for the easiest arrival, then Shinagawa wins for what happens next. This is the one that experienced Japan travelers often recommend, and once you understand it, it makes a lot of sense, especially if you're traveling beyond Tokyo. From Haneda Airport, you take the Keikyu line directly to Shinagawa station, with some trains taking under 15 minutes. You're there sooner than you know it. But Shinagawa isn't just about arrival, it's about what comes next, because Shinagawa is one of the most important transport hubs in Tokyo. This is where things really open up. From here, you have a direct access to the Shinkansen, Japan's famous bullet train, which means that if you're traveling onward to Kyoto, Osaka, or many other top locations in Japan, you are already in the right place. And that changes your entire trip structure. Instead of moving luggage across Tokyo again the next morning, you're already positioned at the gateway out of the city. It's slightly more complex than Hamamatsucho in terms of walking and station navigation because Shinagawa is a much bigger hub station, but it's still quite manageable. In terms of suitcase stress, it's still very low. The trade-off here is simple. Hamamatsucho is easier for arrival, while Shinagawa is better for travel onward. So this is ideal if you're doing a multi-city Japan trip using the Shinkansen early, or if you want to maximize flexibility in your itinerary. And if you're planning a trip to Japan, consider subscribing. This channel is all about making Japan travel less stressful for you. All right, let's talk Ueno. I just had to sneak this one in. It's one of my favorite places. This is just another really strong option when you're arriving in Haneda Airport. And here's a secret, because from Haneda, you don't just have to think in terms of a direct route. You can often do a short train ride followed by one simple transfer and suddenly open up a huge range of areas across the city. For example, from Haneda, you can transfer once and reach places like Shinjuku, Shibuya, or other major districts without too much difficulty. But the key question is not just can you get there easily, it's also does it actually make sense for your trip? And personally, this is why I often prefer Ueno as a base, because Ueno has a really good balance of everything that you actually need when you land. Ueno is one of the easiest major tourist areas to use as a base because it sits on multiple JR lines, the Ginza line, and gives you access to Asakusa, Akihabara, and Tokyo Station. And it also tends to be cheaper than Shinjuku while still feeling very central. And unlike some western Tokyo districts, the station is large but generally easier to navigate. It's a location that I often stay at. I've raved about quite a lot and simply wouldn't have been doing you justice if I didn't include it in this list. Now, I want to mention a wildcard. It's an option that might not be for every tourist, but it might be for you, and one that many tourists never consider. It's Kamata in Ota City. Kamata is very close to Haneda Airport. You take the KQ Airport line straight to KQ Kamata station in 8 to 10 minutes. But the real advantage here is costs. Hotels are noticeably cheaper than in the main tourist districts. And instead of the polished tourist heavy parts of Tokyo, you get something more local, something more residential. You'll see a lot fewer tourists, more locals, and get a glimpse of the Tokyo that most visitors never experience. This isn't about landmarks or famous streets, it's about practicality. You land, you get to your hotel quickly, and you save money doing so. Of course, it's not the most exciting area if you're visiting Japan for the very first time, but if you've been before or you're trying to keep your trip budget under control, Kamata becomes very attractive. In terms of suitcase stress, it's still manageable, short distances, simple transfers, no major complications. The main benefit here is its value. So this is ideal if you're a budget conscious traveler, a repeat visitor, or somebody who has arrived quite late or has a very early flight the next day. And this is the catch, because getting a taxi will be much cheaper because you're staying in the exact same ward as the airport, meaning that you avoid expensive flat rate highway zones and the meter will be lower. Now, a huge tip is having mobile data the moment that you land. I personally use Sakura Mobile. It's something that you're likely going to need and a great way to support the channel if you want to. I want to share the ultimate loophole for avoiding Tokyo station stress entirely. And you know what? Some tourists don't even know this exists. And that's skipping the trains completely and taking the airport limousine bus. If you are dead set on staying in massive crowded tourist hubs like Shinjuku, Shibuya, Ginza, etc., this is the best decision that you can make. Because the biggest flaw with the trains is that you do have to carry your luggage, navigate the stairs, and squeeze into crowded carriages, although many of the trains do have compartments for luggage, so don't worry about that. However, the limousine bus changes the game completely. You walk out of Haneda arrival hall, you follow the signs, hand in your bags to the staff, and they'll lock them away in the cargo hold underneath the bus. Then you sit down in a comfortable air-conditioned seat with free Wi-Fi. And the best part is that these buses often drop you off right at the curb of major hotels or right at the main station's entrances. For example, a direct bus to Shinjuku takes about 40 to 60 minutes and costs around under 2,000 yen. It's slightly slower than the train depending on traffic, and it costs a little bit more, but in terms of suitcase stress, it's literally absolutely zero. So if you have heavy bags, kids, or you just want a brainless transition from the airport terminal straight to your neighborhood, then you should check out the limousine bus schedule before you touch down. Yes, there are many other areas people often talk about for first-time visitors, especially places like Shinjuku. And yeah, I understand why. It's famous, it's central, it's exciting. But for your first night after landing at Haneda, it's not always the easiest choice. We're not trying to find the best area in Tokyo. We're trying to find the easiest first night in Tokyo. So if we simplify everything, Hamamatsucho is the easiest arrival experience by far. Shinagawa is the best connection point for traveling onwards. Ueno is a great base in the east of Tokyo, and Kamata is a wildcard value option close to the airport. And honestly, all of these work. And this video will help you actually choose the right hotel for your trip, not just the ones that travel blogs push you towards. So check it out next.